Hey guys, welcome to the weekly challenge live stream for Yousician. I'm Alexis, and I go by the name Alexis Yousician in the guitar learning app, Yousician. Each week, Yousician releases challenges of 2 songs in varying difficulty levels. Users compete for high scores on the leaderboards. Each Sunday, I play through all the songs on guitar and break each one down for you, so you can reach your goals faster and post higher scores. Hey guys. Okay, so here's the scoop. I have some questions for you guys, just to see if you've noticed anything. But before we get into that, so this is gonna be the big band Boogie. So stream. So this is some pretty tough songs in this week's challenge. So even these lower level ones have some tricky some tricky rhythms. So, and a lot of memorization going on in this one. Like, even though this one, the Runaway Train level 11, even though it says level 11, I feel it's purely from a memorization standpoint, is much more difficult than at least it's much more difficult than the most level 12 songs that I've played. So maybe that's just me, I don't know, but it's a lot of memorizing. So for that solo, so I'm not gonna be too great with that one. I'm telling you right now, that one's gonna be pretty rough ride for me, just because I haven't really spent a whole lot of time on that one. So, but I got a question for you guys. Have you? Maybe it's me, but have you felt that the musician tracks have gotten quieter? I want to show you something before I play anything. I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna open up another file here, just a jam track, and I'm not gonna change anything. I'm gonna leave it as the default settings as far as volume goes. Okay, so I'm not changing anything. This is just as loud as it normally is, and I just it's gonna be probably too loud, so I apologize for that. So here's just a jam track, and I want you to check out the volume. Okay, so that's pretty loud in my ears. I would turn that down. And then let's take a look at the volume for inside Yousician here. Seems pretty quiet to me. I don't know. Maybe it's my settings. Maybe it's something that I can change on my end. But to me, it could be an illusion. It could be something that I did differently. But to me, it seems like all of the Yousician tracks lately have been super quiet. But we'll see. Anyway, let's get to actual playing here. So I'll try this one. Okay, so yeah. According to Craig, he says that he's had to turn his guitar down, so maybe it's not just me. Anyway, let's try this other song here, and we'll get to it. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so not a great run. I was kind of reading the chat there to see what your responses are.
Almost
and
perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
Many of you guys are saying that basically you've had to turn your guitars down in order to play with Yousician. And okay, so that's cool in the sense that I'm not crazy that you guys are having the same issue with having that the Yousician music is too quiet. But at the same time, I think it really addresses or doesn't address it. It brings to light that it would be really great to have a volume level within Yousician to be able to turn that up. So yeah, it's kind of driving me crazy because for me it's just super quiet. So anyway, I'm sure I don't have a great score here. I'm sure there's plenty of you people. Yeah, 198. So again, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this challenge on these songs. So this is going to be a pretty rough day for me as far as how well or how poorly I do these songs. So there's a section. Let me break this one down. There's a section here that that I'm not even entirely sure yet what the rhythm is supposed to be. So if you take a look here, all of this stuff, it should be pretty easy. All of this is on beats, so nothing here. This is where I made my errors, and it was just not really paying attention. So you should be able to do those just fine. It's this part right here that you guys might have some difficulty with. So if you listen to the drummer, okay, if you listen to the drum part here, so what's happening there? If we take a look, again, you really have to listen to the drummer. So it's basically a shuffle feel, and it's basically that it's this pulse. So that's the basic, underlying driving pulse of this song, and essentially that last one has to come on the upstroke. Basically the triplet eighth of the second triplet eighth of, and there's Julian going crazy. I'm sure he'll be up on my desk soon. That last upstroke, and three and so basically it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's where those notes need to happen, and this is the reason why I'm sort of maintaining the picking, doing that, so that maybe to help you hear when that comes in. So basically the and of 4 and then the and of 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 1. So that's pretty tricky. That's a pretty tricky rhythm to get there. So I'm gonna try one more run of this and see if I can nail those in a real performance, and then we'll move on from this one. If I don't nail it, then that's what happens live. We'll just see what happens.
Boogie's covered with an unclean substance. You say it's grimy too. Boy, have I tried to clean it up, but seems like nothing will do. FYI, all ladies and gents, I tried all brands of detergents. No amount of acetone can brighten up the tone.
Okay. There we go. That was a better run. Not fabulous.
Perfect.
But
Keep
better.
on rocking like this.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know how that happened. Yes? Really, Julian? Anyway, okay. That one's that one. Okay, let's try this one. Chords. Okay.
Almost perfect. Next.
The reason why it's a big gripe for the volume is it's really difficult to learn these songs when you can barely hear them, which is the case here. I mean, I'm going far too much by the visual of what I'm seeing versus what it's supposed to sound like. And I suppose this is where, turning on the sheet music mode, and this is just a new feature that's happened. I don't know if you guys, or some of you might not be aware of it, but they just recently added. I'll show you here. They just recently added this, which is great as far as rhythm goes, reading the rhythm goes, but and that's good in the sense of you can determine what the rhythms are. But a pretty important part of being able to play music is being able to remember things by what it sounds like. And the cold, hard fact of this is that I can't really hear this very well. So, I mean, that's great if I'm going to work on my reading. But, it sucks. It sucks not being able to hear the track. So anyway, again, you can see here that they've indicated the triplets in the sheet music here. So, So this one's going to be a tricky one purely for that. If you're not used to shuffle, this one's going to be tough. And a lot of syncopation, a lot of basically upstrokes in what you're playing here. Some of the stuff that indicates upstrokes, I'm playing it downstrokes. So, and then this one's pretty tricky rhythm. So, so in order to stay in time for this part, I'm really maintaining a swing in my hand. So trying to make that motion in my hand, but there's a lot of different rhythms here that you're required to remember. So this is where if you can read notes and you can read rhythms, that's really going to help you out. But at the same time, if you don't, you're going to be listening to it. So for me, I'm almost finding that I can't. I almost have to just stop playing and just listen to the song and not play along, which kind of sucks because my guitar is I've turned my guitar down, and I can't really do it for the stream because if I do, obviously my voice. So I kind of have to keep the volume up on that so you guys can hear my voice. And this is pretty normal volume, but even so, it's completely drowning out the Yousician volume. Anyway. Some tricky rhythms here. So, whoops, even I'm sort of not. Part of what's difficult for that for me is just being ready for it. It isn't so much that I don't know what the rhythm is, but just immediately locking into that rhythm. It's going to take some practice for me to get that into my head from this rhythm. See if I can nail that one. Try that one again. Nope. Whoops. That's pretty tough. I'll have to practice that one. This one here repeats. Just goes to the D chord. This should be pretty easy. So, bum, 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 bum. Again, I'm just verbalizing that just to get the sound of it in my head. Or again, if you are a good reader, you can take a look at what is up here for those rhythms. But for me, I learn much faster by sound. Than reading. Even reading tab, I'm really listening to what the sound of it is. So the whole quiet volume thing is driving me crazy. Okay, so this is pretty basic here. This part here, it indicates down up. I don't. I just go down down. For me, it's pretty slow, so I can. So I wouldn't say that you have to do alternate strums, down up strums on that. Every once in a while, there's going to be this quick eighth note up strum. Let's see if we can find it. Right there. So pretty fast upstroke on that point. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can improve my score on this one. If not, I'll move on. Okay, a little bit better, but
Almost perfect. Next
pretty
time,
difficult
you'll nail it.
hearing the drums, so it's hard to stay in time. Anyway, a little bit of better score, but
Congratulations, you've reached...
pretty crappy score to begin with, the first one that I did. So anyway, all right, so let's try these two. There's where it starts getting pretty difficult, so I'm sure this is going to be ugly. Okay. This one's starting to sink in. Starting to. But it's pretty tricky.
Well done. You can
It's,
continue to the next exercise.
Yeah, not a great score, but I'll try that one again. I'll break it down first. Okay, so a big question is, how do you play this? I'm hybrid picking. I suppose you could use your thumb and your index finger if you wanted, but I'm doing pick and then middle finger. And it's shuffle, and it's pretty stinking fast. Could you pick this? Or rather, can I pick it? I am not entirely sure. Let's find out. Okay, so it's doable. It is possible. I find it a little bit more awkward. I mean, it's an awkward pattern anyway. Like, it's fast, but it's doable. It's physically possible, but wow, you do have to be pretty fast at it. I can do it. I could probably, if I practice it, I'd probably be able to do it reasonably comfortably well compared to with hybrid picking, but probably more work. Okay, these parts here, it's pretty simple chord shapes. I don't think there shouldn't be any difficulty with that. Just maybe the rhythm, but it's repetition. So, but yeah, this part, then it comes back, and then a new rhythm. So for me, again, it's one of those things where I don't necessarily have problems with the rhythm itself. It's just that locking into a new rhythm when it comes around just instantaneously. So you're doing this part here, just boom, you have to do this other rhythm. That's pretty tough. So, and then it's gonna switch up on you. So let's try that again. Same thing. Whoops, wrong chord. There it is. So again, it's about being prepared ahead of time, and you know, the more you have this memorized, the easier it's going to be. So there, that was me just having to lock that new lick into my brain. I don't know if you're watching my eyes, but I'm not actually looking at the screen all that much. Again, this is how much I trust my ears. Is that I'm sort of finding that rhythm in my brain versus reading what's on the screen. So For me, that's just the way my brain works. Is that I really trust my ears first and foremost. But once you're there, if you know the rhythm, once you're there, it's pretty easy to play these sections. Again, it's the transitions from one section to the next. Okay, this is a repetition. So I don't, let's see, this is all the same. And then this chord here at the end. So when I played it the first time, I just forgot about it. So again, this is another example of how much I am not completely reading things. I'm sort of trusting my memory, is that I didn't play this chord correctly, even though it's right on the screen in front of me and I can just read it. My sort of hierarchy of how I'm using my mind is my ears first, my memory first, or those together, and then I'll read it. So, and I guess muscle memory too, and I don't have any of this down to muscle memory at all. So I'm really reading and trust and trying to go by my ear and my memory. So let me try another run of this. I'm sure it'll still be kind of sketchy, but I think I can do a better run. Okay, better run, silly mistakes at the end.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll
But
nail it.
still, some work to do to get anywhere close to the top score. But yeah, that's, you know, I've only run through this. This is probably my 5th time of running through it. So, yeah, lots of work to do. Okay, and this hard one, this one is going to be a train wreck. I'm telling you right now. Runaway Train. That was how punny. Anyway, I do not know this one. It's not in my head. So this is going, I'm telling you right now, I'm promising you right now, unless some miracle happens, I'm going to fail this song so hard. Just because I haven't, you know, it's not in my head and I haven't really worked on it at all. So this is going to be pretty amusing. I'll be surprised if I make it, you know, as soon as that solo hits, it's going to be a train wreck. So you've been warned. I didn't even know what those last two chords were. Okay, that was, whew, that was a lot of luck.
Well done. You can continue to the next exercise.
Okay, so not a whole, you know, not a whole lot of people in that 500,000 range. So that's pretty tough. Again, this
Excellent.
was
You've doubled.
I only ran through this twice this morning, so I can live with that. Whoops. So let me break this one down and what's happening, because there's a lot to break down here in this one. Okay, so you could pick this. I'm hybrid picking it. Some awkward, pretty awkward. Depending on how you want to play that. I haven't even decided. So I'm doing maintaining my first finger for the first two, and just my second and then third fingers on those, third, second. Then I'm switching, I'm replacing my first finger with my third finger. Initially I was barring it, but I don't think that's the best way to do it. So switching to that. So that there is just, again, the rhythm wasn't in my head. So I flubbed that the first time. So again, so you can see that when it's in my head, I can nail it. It's just getting it into my head is getting it into your head, everyone's head, anyone who's working on it is the hardest part. And again, the quiet volume is really working against me here. Okay, so I was able to get that section there more into my head. So some pretty tricky sections here. I'm sweeping it. And it's this weird, again, I've talked about this before, this weird foldy thing with the bar. And I'm sweeping it, I'm going down, down, down. Okay, so pretty fast. And these are just arpeggio shapes. So you might want to take just that. And that, you know, program that into your fingers. Pretty big leap. So with this, it would probably be a good idea to have it memorized, and then you can just look at your fretboard to try to nail that. You know, have your eye on the 15th fret while you're playing this. So I might be playing that, but my eye is here. Okay, next shape. So we're going down chromatically, 15, 14, 14, 13, and then the final one, 13, 12. sure about the pattern there. Yeah, different. So basically the back here, the low note is going to be 9, 11, 10. 11, 10. Okay. Mike showed up. Welcome, Mike. When's the last time you've been in a stream? It's past your bedtime. Okay, so pretty tricky section. And then this part, yay, you get an easy part. I'm hybrid picking this. You could easily strum this. Again, it's one shape for these strings, and then one shape for the first, second, and third strings. So, and a lot of repetition. So. Okay, so that part there, so, you know, chord shapes, you should be able to get that down. Okay, so some offbeats there. Again, it's that transition. It's not so much doing it. It's just from those chords getting into the zone of that rhythm. Again, I know it, but it's not in there yet, so it's too much time for me to get a mental shift to be able to play this part. Let's skip this part, and then we're back into chords. This switches to on beats, but the same exact shapes, so don't really go through that too much. And then the solo is just brutal, for me anyway, just because, again, I haven't worked on it enough. I don't have it in my head. Okay, so shapes. So that's just 4, 3, 1, same shape moving across the string, and then that one change on the end. So again, switch up. Those are tricky to do. This part here, I know these shapes really well, but again, that rhythm, sometimes he's doing, and then other times he's doing. So here he goes, which these are our diminished seventh arpeggios. So he does one rhythm there, and then this is exactly the same shape to start off, but a different rhythm. So that's pretty tricky. Oops. Okay, so that part there is going to take me some time to get. To drill into my memory there. So, again, these are just, you know, pretty basic shapes. You could almost think of that as not an entire shape across your fretboard so much as, you know, individual ones. Just that, that. You know, pretty tricky with that middle finger. Those are awkward. Okay, and there's that rhythm again. Versus. So, different rhythms. So, getting those into my head is a little bit tricky. Okay, this one's a pretty tricky fingering. So that's a bit of a... Gonna take some time for me to... Let's see if I can do that one again. Oh, yeah. It's just not in my head. There we go. I think it's sort of in there. Nope. I think. Something like that. That's going to take a bit of a while. Just doesn't want to sink in. Here's some, again, diminished seventh arpeggios. So that's just a shape moved up. There's that same lick. The same rhythm. That same thing, 3, 4, 3, 1 thing. Pattern. So you don't even have to move your left hand. Pattern again. 9, 8, 7. So this one here, I'm just sort of leaving my first and my second fingers down, like this pattern. And I'm just switching what finger I'm doing the pull off with on the top. And this part here, I actually don't even know what's going on. Oh, okay. I know, but executing is a whole other thing. Let me double check that part. Tremolo picking. It's not blistering fast, but if you've never done it before, it's going to be tricky. So, a lot of sweep picking in this. And then, yay, chords again. So, whole lot of stuff going on with this one. And then there's that final chord, which I didn't know, or I wasn't ready for anyway. So there you go. There's a whole lot to this one. That took a long time to break down. All right, here I go. I'm gonna do another crappy run of it, and yeah. See if I can get a better score. Wee. Okay, so better score.
Well done.
But
You can continue to the next
yep,
exercise.
a lot of work to do. So up to 7th, but again, that's gonna take a while to get down, and for how long, there's a lot of work to do, as far as getting that down. It's just a lot of memorization, and that's the hardest part, is getting this stuff into your head. It's a lot of listening, so don't 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 feel bad about not being able to play something like this. Even if you have the skill level to be able to play every single lick in this, just memorizing it it takes a lot of time. So sometimes I'll just, the beauty of the practice mode is it just perpetually loops. So I mean, sometimes what I'll do is if it's a really difficult song, I'll just turn it on like this, and sometimes with a metronome on, just to help it out. And then I'll do other stuff. Like sometimes I'll have this running, and I'll go play a game, like a video game, like on my computer. So I'm hearing this, and meanwhile I'm gaming. So it'll be the soundtrack, and I'll just turn the music. I'll turn the music off in the game that I'm playing. So just to drill that into my head. So again, that's a toughie. So, and it's only level 11, but like I said, it's probably a more difficult level 11 purely because of the memorization. The techniques might not put it at a level 12 or 13, but purely trying to remember everything is pretty stinking hard. Anyway, so that's that one. I will be working on that one some more this week for sure, just because it's challenging and I like challenging songs. And I think I can do much better than that score. So anyway, so some of the other things that I want to talk about is how how your ears do not hear accurately. And this is one of the reasons why I started recording myself, is that basically the first time I ever recorded myself, it's kind of like the first time you hear your voice recorded. First time you hear your voice recorded, you kind of go, "That's my voice. That's what I sound like." It's because we hear it inside our skull. That's affecting the sound of what we hear. It's a little bit different from that, but we really don't hear our own playing as clearly and accurately as we think we do. And one of the best ways to find out about that is recording yourself. Not only that, we're looking at it. We're looking at one of the best ways to really have to observe your own playing and how tightly are you playing something. Like, for example, this level 2, oops, I'm going to put this into practice mode. This level 2 song, yeah, sure, this part here is really easy, but nailing, where is it? This section here, that is pretty tricky. And other rhythms in the app, even just getting perfects. Tina's taken off. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining the stream. Hopefully we'll see you in the next stream. Anyway, she's going to bed. Good night. What am I talking about? Yeah. So this app, gives you feedback of how well you're playing. I mean, I'm sure many of you have played stuff where you're thinking, I nailed that, it was perfect. And the app is telling you that you're a little bit late, or a little bit early. Now, for the most part, there are the odd song in here where it might be glitchy or it might be inaccurate. So I'll be the first one to admit that there are some songs, but the majority of them, like 98% of the songs in the app, are spot on. So, this app has helped me become a tighter player, tighter meaning being able to play, perfectly rhythmically, much more so than before, because it's giving me that feedback where, I think I'm nailing it, but really I might be a little bit later, a little bit early. and it's showing me my weaknesses, like certain rhythms that maybe I'm not very good at, or certain physical weaknesses of transitioning from one thing to the next. Maybe I'll nail it in the sense of I won't make a mistake, but it's not rhythmically tight, just just bang right on the beat. So this is that's what this app is, probably its biggest strength, is how tight are you playing, how accurate, and giving you feedback about how well you're playing things. But another thing that can't be measured, well, it can be measured, but you can't really notice as much in an, this app isn't going to pick up on this dynamics or just your tone. Like sometimes you might hit a note and it just doesn't sound good. Like that's not a really good sound if you're playing guitars. You might be hitting all the notes correctly and accurately and on time, but it kind of doesn't sound very good. So you're not going to notice those things unless you record yourself, or playing choppy. Let's say it's supposed to sound like this, and maybe you're doing this, where there's silence in between. Again, I didn't make a mistake, but it didn't sound as good. So there's where, a lot of the times our ears deceive us, or we don't know what we're doing. We don't even really understand what we just do the right thing, but we aren't really listening to the tonal characteristics of what we're playing, or the musicality of what we're playing, or the aesthetics of what we're playing. So that's where recording will really help you. Sometimes even just the physical, like for videos, the physical motion. Sometimes you'll be doing something like maybe your pinky will be sticking way out here when you're playing something, and all you have to do is this, but you didn't know that your pinky is like doing this weird funky thing. And that's where videos will help. Or I actually used to sit and practice in front of a mirror. I'd have a mirror in front of me, and I'd be just like, I wouldn't be looking at my hand. I'd be looking at the mirror to see exactly what I'm doing. So that's another thing, is a mirror can help you to show you what you really are doing. So let's see here. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was when are you ready to perform, or how long does it take to learn a song? There was my classical teacher, one of his teachers, he told me the story that one of his teachers had, and I can't remember the name of the teacher, but unfortunately, but one of his teachers, he had cards for every piece that he wanted to perform. And every time he played it perfectly from memory, he would put a check on it. And this is extreme, so I'm not saying that this is the standard and this is what you should be doing, but he would put a check on every time he played a piece from memory perfectly. And he wouldn't perform that piece till he had performed it from memory 400 times. Now, obviously, that's, a bit ridiculous. We're talking about somebody who's like a professional musician, right? So I mean, he takes it a little bit more seriously than just, for most people, most hobby guitar players, that's overboard. But it shows you how far, it puts you, it puts things into perspective. It's like, okay, if a pro is going to take it that far, where are you along that path? But that also shows you just how far you can take it, and how much practicing you can put into a piece of music before some people will determine, hey, this is good enough to perform, or this is, I'm ready to perform this. So how long does it take to learn a song? Again, it's not, I think of it as in steps and degrees. So the first step is error-free. That's the first goal, error-free. And then as far as, beyond that, putting some emotion into it, putting the aesthetics into it. How do you want to play something? Do you want a note? Do you want certain notes to snap out? Or are you going to play that everything even? Like that to me is a bit... Some licks, that sounds great and that's applicable, but other times, putting some dynamics, or even, changing your picking. how you're playing those things is going to make it more musical. So once you've gotten to the point of you have to make judgment calls. Once you've gotten to the point of I can play it error free, how far beyond that do you want to take it? Are you going to take it 400 times from memory? Probably not, unless you're a pro and you like, you really have to nail it that, flawlessly, or that, ridiculously, you know, dynamic and the emotional content involved. You have to make your judgment call how far you want to take those things, but you can take it. It's so far. There's so much more that you can add to a piece of music. So it's really an individual thing, and this is what makes music such a challenging thing. Is like where is the end? There is no definitive. This is the end of this. So. Yeah, it's a difficult question to ask. There's a lot of difficult, or to answer. There's a lot of difficult questions to answer. Like, for example, in the Musician Friends group, somebody was asking, how long does it take to become a professional? It's like, well, the standard answer is, a decade, probably, and that's including like around 4 hours of practice every day, and music lessons and lots of studying. Private lessons, and then even going to college or university for it. But basically, it takes a long time. It's not like being a pro is like, I would say a decade minimum. As far like standard stuff. Can you make it? Becoming, if you're defining, I got paid for something, well, you can busk. Does that make you a pro? You can walk onto the street and somebody can hand you, some change. You just got paid for playing. So does that mean you're a professional? So it really depends on how you define those things. So we got a question here. Let me see here. Okay. Explain me this. Why? Okay, Dr. S'more. Explain why when I perform for myself, I usually do much worse than when I perform for someone else, or have someone else in the room. I'll play better. That is a pretty good question. And for me, that really does apply. And that really is, some people perform better under pressure. Sometimes, now that doesn't mean that I play like crap on my own. But it's really about putting yourself in that zone of really caring. And that's something that, that's something that as well that I would try to practice being able to do. Like, if you can really play something really, really well on your own, it's actually usually the opposite for people. That less pressure, they play well. But for me, I don't think I necessarily play better with pressure, but sometimes I play worse for sure. But I like pressure. I like that I have no choice. So in that sense, it helps me that I have no choice. Like, every once in a while, I'm just, you'll be practicing for yourself, and I'm just in the zone, and I can just nail everything, and I'm really feeling it, and it's really emotive, and I'm really in control of what I want to do. And then there are other times where maybe I'm tired, or feeling lazy, or whatnot, and I'm just not in the zone, and I'm not playing as well as I could. Pressure for me forces me to try to get into that zone, forces me, like, to try to play well, because I really don't want to be horrible in front of people. So it depends. Different people react differently. Some people, they crumble under pressure. So, there's no one way to react to those situations. But I think you want a balance. You want to be able to play well. In perfect case scenario, you can play well in any situation on your own. For example, when I'm recording myself, when I'm writing stuff and I'm recording things, I should probably play well for that recording, so nobody's watching me at that precise moment. But at the same time, there's pressure. So, that's kind of the same, at least to me, in the sense of there's pressures on, because, like, I have to get a good take on this recording. So I tend to play better in those situations. Again, that's just me, and I actually kind of enjoy pressure. I enjoy seeking out those situations. It's kind of the reason why I like doing these streams, is that it's pressure, and I kind of like that. Forcing being under the gun to play well. And it helps me. The more I do these streams, it's making me become a better player, in the sense of having to deal with a live situation where I'm learning right here in front of you. So all of these songs, I only ran through them this morning, like a few times, 4 times probably at the most for each song. So you know what? I totally forgot to do the bass challenge. I just remembered that. And that one's actually fairly easy. So I kind of got sidetracked here. I apologize for that. But might as well do that then. And then I'm going to do some improv to take her out. And then I think that would be it for today. So let me mute and I'll switch and then I'll do the bass challenge. And then I think I'll wrap this one up. Okay, in response to your Dr. S'more's comment is that he doesn't feel pressure. No, I don't. Pressure is I just mean it's just you're in a situation that you have to perform well. You don't necessarily feel nervous, but it's a situation that you need to perform better because there's someone there. So you might not emotionally feel pressure, right? It's just that I just mean pressure in the sense that it's a situation that you probably don't want to play crappier than normal. That's all that I meant by pressure. So like when I say pressure in this situation, that doesn't mean like I'm like oh no, what's going on? Like I'm not feeling nervous, but at the same time, I don't want to suck. So that's all that I mean by pressure. So anyway, let's get on to this challenge.
My boogie's covered with an unclean substance. You could say it's grimy too. Boy, have I tried to clean it up, but seems like nothing will do. FYI, all ladies and gents, I've tried all brands of detergents, and no amount of acetone can brighten up the tone.
Blah. So there's some rhythms there that I haven't quite got into my head, so that's why I'm having difficulty with that one. And it's also a bit of a stretch. I don't have ginormous hands, so it's a little bit difficult for me to do that. So, a whole lot of that first riff. So, really not much to talk about there. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a chromatic run 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1 with your fingers. Other than that, a lot of repetition, and no weird rhythm changes until some string changes. But it really isn't that difficult until you get to this section here. Oops. So that rhythm, bum 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 ba da dum ba ba da dum. Again, it's that change up, being able to lock into that rhythm right after you're doing this. So again, tap that out, clap that out, get that rhythm into your head, and a little bit of awkward fingerings in the sense of having to do your second finger or first finger here, and then you're going to have to switch to the same fret, different string, but second finger. So, but other than that, that's pretty much the whole song. It's a whole lot of repetition, and those fingerings aren't terribly difficult. At least they shouldn't be. Oh yeah, this section here. Octave part, and I suck at octaves. So again, this is more about the rhythm. It's just almost like an exercise because it loops so much. Ariel's taken off. Thanks for coming out for the stream. Hopefully you can be here next week, same time. Where am I? Again, yeah, for me it's just getting into my head. And then you're back to this. So, and this part is predominantly the same. So there's really not a whole lot going on here. Let me try one more run and see if I can get a better score and gold star it. Maybe. Okay. My hand just started getting tired there at the end.
Well done. You can continue to the next exercise.
Not much. A little bit of an improvement, but
Wow. If you just tripled your...
anyway, pretty tough one for me anyway, just because, you know, like I said, I'm not really a bass player. And it's just tiring. So anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap that up for today. I'm gonna do a little bit of improv to take us out, and thanks for coming the stream. And yeah, there will be another one next week, same time, same place, 11:30 a.m. As well as actually have 2 videos coming out, possibly even one tomorrow. 2 videos coming out this week. I just launched a video yesterday, so check that out. Wishing in the Night. Did a lot of new stuff as far as like the production with it, as far as like reamping and stuff. So there's like 5 different amps in that one, so it's a lot of fun to play. And there's probably going to be a new video, possibly either tomorrow or the next day, but there's going to be 2 in this coming week. One of them is a little bit different type of video. So if you've been playing this game for a while, if you've been playing the app for a while, you'll get it. It'll make sense to you why I did this, and hopefully you are amused by it as much as I am. So anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of improv, and thanks for coming out, guys. If you're new to the stream, I'll be doing this again next week. If you're new to my channel, I release lots of videos, gold star runs and stuff. Check out my other stuff. And if you're new to Yousician, download it. There's a link in the description box, as well as a link to many other things like my Patreon, as well as the Facebook group Yousician Friends. So check that out. I'm going to do some improv, and thanks for coming, guys.